Hello and welcome to the D Hoop University podcast. This is your host, Darrell Harris, also known as D Hoopster. And we got my guy on here today, folks. We got my guy. This is the man that I've recorded the most time with on air, anything with the microphone in front of us. So it was only a matter of time before we got him on this podcast. And it was a perfect weekend to do so. Ridiculous weekend in Las Vegas. And we were a tag team in that we were in separate locations, and we're reporting live tonight, team coverage, and we've got you covered, folks. Buckle up. You're going to have a good listen and recap of what went down this weekend in terms of NBA Summer League, free agency recap, NBA Con, the NBA Cup, and then we shine the light on Talk That Talk, the company, and, we get some life talk in on the back end, which was real good. You should definitely stick around for that. As always, like and follow the show wherever you're listening, and just do your homework, folks. Leave us a review. It's the one thing I'll ever assign you. I won't do anything more than that. Don't take attendance as it is. Just leave us a review. Honestly, I'm not asking for 5. Just leave us one, and we'll keep dropping pods. How about that? Deal? Thank you. All right. Without further ado, folks, let's talk some hoops. Well. If it took 28 episodes, it took 28 episodes, folks. But I think we have this fellow who's making an appearance, and his first appearance on there and in the classroom at DHU. None other than Mr. Terrel Emerson, Chatterbox, host of the Talk That Talk, owner of Talk That Talk Media Company. I'll just give you the ball right now and let you talk to the people, introduce yourself a little more. But this is my guy, man. This is definitely my guy.
You actually smoked the intro. I appreciate you. It was definitely flattering. I appreciate you having me on. And to the audience, if I am a new face, hopefully I'll get to see you guys a lot more.
Well put. And it's no need in wasting time at the top. Let's get right into the rundown, which begins with shout outs.
Okay.
It just begins with shout outs because I feel like, if you save stuff to the end of, me, like, oh, I meant to shout this out. Like, sometimes you want something to be heard. So I just got to list shout outs because we haven't been here in a minute. It's our way of taking a roll, essentially. And shout outs if you got them. This is where they go ahead and go. Shout out to Bash. This brother just turned 2. Shout out to Taji. We definitely went up. He had a world tour this week. It was a good week. Shout out to all the folks. Shout out to family. You know what I mean? Got to shout out to family. This is the time of year where we're taking trips to see folks, and it's the summer, full swing. Shout out to the Aces.
Shout out to the Aces for sure.
16-2.
Yeah, man. No, they got a dub today, didn't they?
17-2.
17-2.
Stop it, bro.
Shout out to KP for that 40.
We talked about this on Talk That Talk when they started the year with like an 8-game winning streak. We were like, this won't be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
This won't be the last one of that stretch. And again, they got to 9, just like that.
They probably just started another one.
And they have 2 schedule losses where they lost to an opponent on the second of a back-to-back against the same team. Whatever. Shout out to the Aces. They killing it. Shout out to a lot of folks I saw today, man. I had a nice little event I went to today. Nice mixer. You might have seen a picture with Vernon Davis. Shout out. DeAndre Jordan. Some other folks were in the building. Mark Spears. Kyrie was in the building. It was adapt mellow up. It was a crazy little afternoon, I'll say. More on that probably at a later date. But shout out to some connections made today. Shout out to the folks at Swish Culture. You know what I mean? And
shout out to Swish Culture for sure.
Shout out to my guy Jamie D. I just wanted to get that on there. You know what I mean? And that wraps mine up, bro. Go ahead, but I know you got a shout out or two.
I got two. I got two. So the first one I'm gonna do is over my shoulder right now. So shout out to my mom's painting. When I
Hey
moved
now.
to Vegas in 2017, she gave me a paint. She went to like a sipping paint, and she gave me this painting. So I don't do very many like zooms from my room, but yeah, man. Shout out to my mom's artwork. That's hard. And yeah, man, it's only right that we do it twice. I definitely got a shout out to Bash. Happy birthday, my guy.
Hey
Yeah,
man.
man.
Two of them. You got
Two
two
of them
shout
things.
outs.
Two of them things.
Hey, shout out to moms, man. Shout out to the tip-ins. The tip-in segment is a wonderful segment
Yeah,
on the
man.
Talk That Talk radio show.
Yeah, man. My parents definitely hold it down. They definitely facilitate the offense.
So we talking. Let's talk some hoops, as I like to say. My last episode, I was talking with Shiv, and we were recapping the previewing free agency, and we did a pretty thorough preview. And I kind of glad that some times went because we kind of seen free agency pretty much in its totality. The big names, except for James Harden's kind of like still floating. We don't really know what's happening with James Harden, and we still don't know what's happening with Dame. And we know now that something's happening because it's official. We've been referencing this, for about a month now. So it's been in progress. At looking at those parts, I had some winners in mind. I thought the Lakers, did good with what they had to do. I kind of think the Mavericks have put in a nice return as well. I think Phoenix used a little bit of money to at least round out the roster. And they got, some decent guys. And hey, there's some moves being made. Thinking about, those free agency just takeaways since we've had a week or so to digest what's happened. How you feel about free agency?
First of all, I feel like it's basketball minds in general. I feel like sports minds in general, they tend to think alike. So I do have the Mavericks on that list. I do have the Lakers on that list. So I'll point to some other teams. But before I do that, let me give a quick little rundown about Dallas. I completely agree with you. I told Mark Cuban to his face a couple of years ago that I thought they won the offseason. And at the end of the day, I think any team that Kyrie is on, if you guys are depending on him that much, the questions begin and they probably end with Kyrie. So yes, you have questions about Luka. Yes, you have questions about the center position. Yes, you have questions about whatever else you may have questions about. All of that does not matter in most cases if Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving and he's available for you guys. The question is he going to be available? So thinking about just who won free agency, I'm gonna actually switch it up on you. I'm gonna go to two teams that are
I'm here for it.
bottom of the cellar. And don't be surprised if they're still bottom of the cellar next year. But the reason why is because they have direction. I'm going Houston and I'm going Detroit. I'm going because of the head coaching position. I'm looking at Monty Williams. I'm looking at Ime Udoka. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. People had their hands off.
I'm gonna let you cook because both of these teams are on my list. Are on my list of notes in a positive way. So,
beautiful. Like I told you, basketball sports minds, they think alike. And to be honest with you, I'll start with Ime Udoka. We understand that there was something turbulent, right, that happened in Boston that led to him leaving. However, relax. However, I don't really know why it took so long, because I understand a lot of people may look and say, oh, well, there was questions if he would ever coach again, things of that nature. Understanding the situation, and of course, we're behind the scenes, we know a little more. Somebody was going to take a shot. Somebody was going to do it. And
easily.
Houston should be happy at him. Houston should be absolutely happy.
No, if you look at what they did, they were the youngest team in the NBA with an average age of 22 and a half in my notes from before free agency. And some moves they've made, they've balanced that out to a very, they've added some years to that because they brought in Van Vliet, they brought in Grant, they brought in a Jock Landale, they brought in maybe somebody else, but they got Josh Christopher out of here. They got Kenyon Martin Jr. out of here. They didn't hold on to all these young pieces. Hey, he was on the list the last episode that somebody's going to pay him. you know?
And at the same time, too, think about what we just said Houston is doing. Houston just took a shot on him. Think about what we're saying. They took a
Yes.
shot on a coach that went to the finals in his first year. I'll take that shot any day. Like, if that's
And
the shot you're going to give me, I'll take it.
and making a point to grab veterans and guys who have at least, been in the postseason, things like that, with Ime is like an assurance of, all right, we'll meet you right in step. Like, let's go get some guys in. We're gonna get you some guys to play with. We're not gonna have you playing with, some
You
brand new
spoke about
some
James
brand new
Harden
toys
earlier.
out here.
Right. You spoke about James Harden earlier, and there was a tweet that went out today during Summer League where I guess Ime Udoka was flat out asked about if he wanted James Harden. And he said it's not going to work here.
Hey, Ime straight like that.
That's what Houston needs. Houston has lacked the direction, and I think at the very least, you're going to get that with Ime Udoka. How long does he stay there? I would like to see 3 years plus. That's what I would like to see, because whatever he's building, it's going to take some time. It's probably going to take some roster reshuffling, but that's going to take some years. So, I mean,
and it's very competitive. It's very competitive, so you can't, just pencil them in, but they'll be in playing contention.
For sure. I think if these teams were to go ahead and be that between that 10 and that, even that 9.
With a lot of upside.
Right.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, what I'm looking for from these teams is exactly what I got from OKC last year.
Yeah.
That's what I would like. If you guys are 13, 14, I wouldn't even be upset, but I got to see some sort of promise. I got to see it.
OKC, by the way, we got to pencil them as a playoff team next year, right?
I got them.
They are.
I don't have them guaranteed in the top 6, but I got them top 8.
Yeah, like that is a playoff team. If there's a playoff team built for that core guys they got, and to pivot that to Detroit, my positive notes on Detroit were, just watch out. Toe Shift this, just chopping it up, and he was kind of bought in, kind of wasn't. I was like, nah, dude. I was like, Darren, I've been watching Summer League highlights, which is so different because I'm used to kind of being all in during Summer League the last couple of years. And this year with the work schedule and a busy weekend this weekend, we'll get into SneakerCon. Or not even SneakerCon, NBA.
I was about to say, we can get into that too.
They were next door. I was in the wrong line. I was lost in Mandalay Bay. I was lost in the parking garage. It was crazy.
It was madness sometimes.
But it was man, my notes for Detroit were, Duren, this is no cap about Jalen Duren. He has shades of a Dwight Howard who entered the league at 18 and 19 and at that age, in what you're just seeing. That's not putting too much on it. Shades of. Add that with, bro, I saw him, whoever was guarding him, it was a big man. He went like bang, bang between the legs, like size up, didn't even lose him, pull up like beyond the elbow with a contest, drained it. I said, what am I seeing right now? What is that?
You're not the only person that thought that. We were in the building and thought the exact same thing. Somebody asked him after the game how long he's had that in his bag. He looked up, thought, and said, since April. So it just got added to the toolkit. So
great question.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think no, he smoked that question. By the way, he works in Detroit too. So whoever, I wish I could give him credit, but that clearly is his team, and you can tell. But to be honest with you, a lot of it, I understand why you went there, and I like the fact that you said Dwight Howard when he entered the league. I like that aspect.
Right.
Walking
with it.
For me is I don't see him rooted the same. He has more of an offensive game than Dwight did at this stage of his career, in my opinion. Yeah. And it may not be the traditional big man game. That's because the game isn't traditional anymore. So as you said before, that tween, that little hezzy, it's like, bro, what are you sure you're 6 what? You're 6'10", 6'11",
and by that I mean he has like some of the spring, like physically, like he can catch a lob that Dwight could have caught. Can like if he's engaged, could rebound. And that's just one piece of what Detroit has right now.
Which is why I'm going to mention another piece right now in James Wiseman. And the thing for me with James is, or with Duren rather, and this is no knock to him because I just think Dwight Howard is on another level. just in
Yeah.
terms of defensively. Even
Too much on Jalen Duren. I wanted that to be like combine that, like you said. I'm gonna let you go with Wiseman, Ivy, Cade's coming with revenge. I feel like Cade's coming with revenge.
You actually just talked about it.
Azar, and
with Cade Cunningham, you have to. Anytime you talk Detroit, you have to start with Cade Cunningham. And the next place that I would actually go is Isaiah Stewart. Now, I'm not sure if Isaiah Stewart is not one of those people that maybe you try to flip into something. Maybe you try to flip into a bigger name. Now, we seen it a couple of years ago where Portland went out and got a Jeremy Grant. With all due respect to Jeremy Grant, all-time basketball player for us basketball heads, because we know what he does, right? We know that a winning team needs a Jeremy Grant. Detroit needs to go find, ironically enough, where'd they get him from? So, ironically enough, Detroit needs that. And the problem was when Jeremy was there originally, Jeremy was your scorer. And that's not really Jeremy's makeup. So now you go out and you add a player like a Jeremy, a 3-and-D vet with the Cade Cunninghams, with the Jaden Ivey, as you mentioned before, with the Ausar Thompson, as you mentioned earlier as well, too, which for me, going back to what you said before, that's my takeaway from Summer League with Detroit. I don't know how many other teams have this big of a percentage of their main roster playing.
Yeah.
You look at their starting five, and that's probably what it's going to look like once you throw in Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. And they had to be next to Houston in one of the youngest rosters.
And going back to Houston, and why I think
they got to go get a vet.
And going back to Houston really quick, only reason why is because I want to do this comparison for one reason and one reason only. You talk about second-year players, right, and things of that nature. Go and look at the Summer League stats for James Wiseman and Jabari Smith. That alone, the energy around James Wiseman has changed. It has changed drastically, and it has changed quickly. Jabari Smith, he didn't shoot so well day one of Summer League. He got it together by the end of the night.
Hit a game winner.
What he did.
They have another connection. They got the twins.
Yeah, man.
And we were robbed of that today by the ankle gods of all people, man. You know what I mean?
I was gonna show up bright and early for that one. Trust me, I was ready for that one.
Right. That was gonna be a spectacle. And but that's still gonna be a thread. Shout out to Threads. That will be a thread between those two teams every year. For book it. That's a television game. They're going to talk about it at least these first couple.
Yeah, I would like to see it. Believe it or not.
That was that was a good way to kind of move past that. I think that I want to talk more Summer League with you because you spent this whole weekend there, and Wembanyama, man, I'm glad that we're doing this because our last, kind of talk, one of our last two episodes, we were talking about the direction of the league, and you had a good line of, the face of the league is no longer a person or player, it's a collection of flags. And I've had the same idea and feelings and talk about energy around somebody. This Wembanyama fella, he is in the spotlight. And it feels kind of like, I think this feels pretty massive. Not with any undue, amount of coverage, but it's like, this brother's covered differently. The coverage is different. The feeling is different.
But you were at Summer League when Yuta Watanabe was there, correct? So I think I think you were at that one. So you saw that, and you saw Rui Hachimura's.
Rui's one I can definitely attest to.
Those are two situations.
Another.
When
two more.
Who else you got?
No, two more flags.
Oh no, definitely 100%. Two more flags. So you look at those media scrums and the international coverage and things of that nature. Wemby had his two press conferences in where UNLV does theirs. So you know what that room is. So in that room,
and it was packed. It was probably packed.
I mean, it doesn't feel as big because it's an empty room to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's literally 10 rows of 5 chairs. So it's 50
Oh, I
chairs.
know. No, that room's pretty cozy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So I mean, to be honest with you, it just didn't feel as congested as it was. But like you just said before, he's getting all the international coverage possible. Wemby has a he has like the American portion of his interview or of his press conference, and then they take questions in French, and then that's the way it ends. So yeah, man, he's an enigma all in itself, and obviously the play on the court gave a lot of people stuff to talk about. So
Tale of two games with Wemby. I had to have some conversations after the first one and just be like, yo, please, guys, please, like let's not like, yo, what are we doing? Stop it. I had to be like, please. And dude, talk about what he did today, bro.
he didn't second guess himself today. That's the biggest thing. I actually wrote a story about him 2 days ago. Well, I guess it just hit midnight now. So I wrote a story about him yesterday, and my it was my 3 takeaways from Wemby's debut. My first takeaway was he's human. My second takeaway was the offensive game will come to him. The third takeaway was the Spurs can't stash him on the wing as a perimeter defender and think that's going to work. So those are my 3 takeaways. So those are the 3 things I was watching coming into today. And the first one is self-explanatory. He's human. What we saw in the beginning or in his summer league debut was all what you just mentioned, all the stresses of media. He talked about it after the game. He said, once summer league is over, I'm probably going to hide from the media for a little bit. He said it. He said, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff.
Good for him.
Absolutely. He said, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with basketball. And I just want to get away from that. So
he got a taste of that news cycle out here.
Bro, all right, but here's the thing, and I'm happy you said that because I tweeted this, and I don't know if you saw it already.
I did. And okay, I didn't know what. I think you were alluding to something that I was not aware of, but I was like, "Ooh, I feel like he's like something else happened."
Yeah, so something else happened, but it's not like world news, I don't think. But it's enough that I shouldn't have heard it, and I'll put it that way. I shouldn't. I would have never tweeted about it if I didn't hear it. And at the end of the day. Now, who you again haven't covered summer league several years, we understand how this works. Now, are media members supposed to ask for pictures? No. However, it's summer league. If there was ever a free for all type of place to get it,
yeah,
it would probably be summer league.
Yeah.
That being said, I also feel like as a media member, even if you were going to take pictures, it probably wouldn't be with a player that's playing that. It probably wouldn't be that. That's probably my guess, right? It's not going to be a player that is literally actively trying to go make a roster and or, you know what I mean, proves it to their team like a Victor Wembanyama. However, short story or long story a little less long, Wemby is done with his press conference. I'm in the back of the room, so I get out of there, and I'm not going to lie, I'm in the back of the room. So you know the way the room looks. I should be out and halfway down the hall before Wemby is even behind me. And that wasn't necessarily the case. They ushered him out of there pretty quickly. You could tell they're protecting him. However, here's the issue that I had. There was a media member who asked for a picture. And are you supposed to do it? No, you're not supposed to do that. However, it's the way that you handle somebody after the fact. Wemby did what he was supposed to do. The gentleman that was with him, his handler, said, "Oh no, we can't do that." Wemby pointed at him. Like, he's going to let you know. The guy says, okay, cool, we can't have that. I understand it. I understand that. I have no problem with that.
You don't do that. You don't do that. It's not that. But yeah.
He follows it up by saying, weren't you in the media room? Yeah. Is media supposed to take selfies? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. And that's where I kind of hesitated. I don't know who San Antonio has around Victor Wembanyama. However, and this is just me speaking as candidly as I can.
Yeah.
It appears that people are acting out of character because they are walking with a 7'4" enigma. If something were to happen with his security, with the Britney Spears situation, whatever the case may be, Victor's not going to hop in that. He's not going to break it up. He's not going to do anything. So that's 2 days. or two instances rather over a 3-day span that we've seen their handlers handle stuff in the wrong way. And I understand Wemby is what he is, but I'll put it this way. I saw Derek Lively
out of character was a good way to put it. It's a lot of that. It's like, yo, he's got the streets of the chokehold, bro. Like,
absolutely. And at the end of the day, this is my only thing. I watched Derek Lively after his game yesterday walk through the front row, and of course, kids are stopping him to take pictures, whatever the case may be. But I don't see the stranglehold on him like that. And of course, you and I, we went to UNLV, so all I envision is Brandon McCoy. And I watched the way UNLV coddled Brandon McCoy. Not saying they shouldn't have, but it wasn't the right way. And obviously, we always said it. If Brandon doesn't become what this campus wants him to become, he'll be accessible. You'll be able to grab him for pictures. You'll be able to. Brandon McCoy is that way now. Brandon McCoy has had NBA chances, and me and Brandon have a great relationship.
Yeah, I talked to him.
He was right. Now, if Wemby doesn't pan out to be who Wemby is expected to be, 3 years from now, we won't have this clamoring for him. So I just think the team should watch the way they are handling the people that are creating this buzz around their biggest toy right now.
Yeah, man. It's different, bro. It's really different right now with him, and it has to feel like, all right. But it hasn't been the case kind of like that before. So we're not trying. I mean,
And that's why I disagree. Only because Zion and RJ both got the same thing.
It was shut down. They had to shut down.
They were really quick with that.
They were brief with that. Anyway, nah, man. I'm glad you had to share. I'm glad you got to share that, bro. Tales of Summer League, just added to the book that'll be written and at a later date.
Definitely. So you want to get to on the play court with Wemby as opposed to the BS?
By all means, my intro to that is just that, man, I think that San Antonio is all hands on deck with this right now, and you don't need to educate them on anything but the game of basketball. They're going to figure it out before we will, and it's going to be bad. And I think that this, instead of like, oh, you just pencil them in for 15, 20 years, I think that Pop, with his contract extension just now for 5 years, which he's also president of operations, he could change it. That could change along the way. But he's like, all right, bro, I'm a coach. Like, I'm gonna put 5 on this. Like, I see, okay, wait a second. Stop it. All right, let's make this work. Let's make this work quickly, to be honest. Just because Wemby, I think I haven't been able to say this yet on the pod. His frame, it doesn't give me red flags. Of course, it does naturally, just at that size. And with all this, I didn't meant to say this as soon as we started talking about him. Bro, he's 19, bro. He's gonna look goofy on the basketball court sometimes. You know how much growing this boy has done in 3-4 years? He's adjusted, and now a brand new level of physicality.
One game to the other,
dude. He's gonna, yeah. Like, we can talk about a year, 2 years from now. 20-year-old Wemby is gonna, probably do 19-year-old Wemby kind of cold. It's gonna be funny to see.
The exact equivalent would be Chet Holmgren right now. Chet Holmgren today,
wonderful thread.
Chet Holmgren last year,
wonderful thread. Yes. 20-year-old Chet, 21-year-old, yes. And that's the thing with Summer League too. The second year guys where you get to see him be like, ooh, he is looking cold, because he was not doing that last year. Like, Ingram had one of those stints in Summer League where it's like, oh wow, he did what in 2 games? All right, yeah, pull that guy. He's ready. We love what we see. And yeah, dude. So I think that San Antonio now sees, okay, how can we pull something off? How can we maximize what we have here? And we don't need to, I think we buy in on the fact that he appears to be healthy and we don't push him too hard. But if we can lessen the burden on his shoulders by acquiring some real guys and just let him be a piece, we really could be something special, because nobody else has this piece. There's pieces in the league, the Giannis's, Jokic's, right. And it's like, if you got one of the pieces, dude,
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Wemby is going to. I agree with you in terms of his second year. Wemby is probably going to dominate first year Wemby, but the thing with him, I tweeted it today, especially for me, if I'm San Antonio, I was with you up until game 1 of Summer League. And I know people are going to say you're overreacting probably too. And I told everybody else not to overreact. Game 1 for me told me that Wemby needs this to be built around him year 1. That's what it told me. It told me that Victor Wembanyama can quickly become a role player that gives you 12 and 8. And that may be helpful, but it's not what we expect from the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. So for me, after seeing the way he kind of hesitated and he was able to be passive, I don't want him to have not that you would get one, but I'm going to name some names. I don't want him to have a Jimmy Butler. I don't want him to have who else? I don't want him to have a Jordan Clarkson. I don't want him to have a Colin Sexton. This is you. We move the way you move. So when that confidence that he has is going to, or that confidence is actually going to elevate and is going to take him to the next level in the year 2. Now in year 2, maybe I'll go out and maybe I'll try to go get a Jalen Suggs. Maybe I'll go try to see if I can go make a move with Orlando, go get one of these young guards, add him with you. Maybe I'll go out and try to get Markelle Fultz by the trade deadline this year. Who knows?
Markelle. Yeah.
Who knows what I do? But Wemby,
I need to figure out. I need to see what you need. We got to figure. Yeah.
Not even that. I need to see what bigger than what you need, because it's probably common sense. That's the what he needs. I need to know that if I need you to take 18 shots a game, you're gonna take 18 shots a game. That's what I need.
Man, that's a wonderful thing that we'll get to watch this year, bro. Like, and just see. And
I give him the green light. Go,
dude, by all means. And we've and stints of what he's done in his game so far, it's just running things down. He catches the ball in post. He's got the putbacks. He's got the ridiculous blocks. He's got just the contests, rim protection. He's got some transition handling, which the rest of the team, of course, it's not beyond his means, but the rest of the team isn't like coming to get the ball from him. Like we're rolling. Like we've seen threes. We've seen, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, like, just, yeah, but keep trying, bro. Like, we're down to see what's happening. We don't need to rush it either. And that, yeah, so 5-year window, but they know by year 2, 3, stop it. Stop it. We're not playing.
By year 2, 3, we're looking at playing next to you, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, we're not playing. Yeah, and that's the thing. So yeah, San Antonio smart. We're not telling them what to do, bro. We're not. They're already ahead of us. They're 3 steps ahead of us.
You said it earlier. The winningest thing rather that this franchise has done already. You talked about it. All hands on deck. I love the fact that Tony Parker's talking to him. I love the fact that David Robinson's talking to him. I love the fact that Mario Elie talking to him. I love the fact that, like, what are we doing right now? I didn't mention Manu. I didn't mention Tim Duncan. Like, they all put the work in.
And San Antonio's very endearing.
And I said Mario Elie. Is it Sean Elliott? I might have named him.
Yeah, Sean Elliott. And there's, everybody. It's crazy, man. And that's definitely going to have our attention. We already talk about Chet a little more. You got to see some Chet?
Yeah, man, I did. Chet is this is what I'll say. Everybody thought that I didn't like Chet 2 years ago because I was saying Chet was going to struggle in year 1. Now everybody's going to think I've had the ultimate, like, change of heart. But no, everybody's going to argue that this is year 1. This is year 2 for Chet. And this is what I expected him to look like this year. But I expected him to go through the ringer last year. What I see is exactly what you're predicting for Wemby. I see somebody who has grown into his grown man body. And the sad part is he's not done. He's not done growing. Like, that's the scary part. So he's going to fill out. He has the defensive ability that hasn't gone anywhere. I think the bigger thing with him, and this is the scarier part. Remember how I just said that Wemby can give you 12 and 8, and you'll probably feel away. You're like, okay, I need more from you. Let Chet Holmgren give you 12 and 8 right now for OKC.
It's the cherry on top of what they need per se. I don't know, man. And I think we probably both think he'll get a little more than that.
Yeah,
And
I think so too. I think he'll
yeah,
average a double-double, but let's say he doesn't even touch 17 points. Let's say he has
right.
15, and let's say he has 15 on 11. OKC is undoubtedly a playoff team.
Yeah, that's the beauty. It's like they don't need him to do more than that. They just insert here. Like it's gonna work.
Plug and
Yeah,
play.
and he'll have the red shirt year of Blake Griffin and Ben Simmons and a lot of guys, Zion Williamson when he saw for 25 games, Joel Embiid when he had a rookie stretch after like 2 years, however long it was, like where it's like, oh my God, this looks great. So hey, if that were to happen, it's happened before with some second year guys, but in flashes, I'm upside on Chet as well.
No, this is your show, but I got a question for you. Give me your final three. Give me your three finalists for Rookie of the Year. Mm, mm.
Well, what I'm keeping in mind when it comes to the award process and predictions, and I look at, I like to wager recreationally and looking at odds because odds are just another like, research asset rubric kind of to go off of, general consensus and perception. You got to play 65 games this year coming up. And that's going to determine who's getting it. I would probably bet on Scoop first. Wemby second, Chet third. Honorable mention to anybody. Nah, it's gonna come down to one of them. I do like Anthony Black. I like Anthony Black. He's been I didn't know he was like I wasn't as familiar with his game. I'm a little more familiar now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's kind of nice. But
it's a big
Keontae George went crazy as well. And Chuck texted me that if he goes 5 for 5, he's going to get on here, and maybe I just jinxed him.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably did.
But I'm take that as what that means is that he still is looking good. He wouldn't have said that for no reason. But he was one of the guys. Jalen Hood-Schifino was one of the guys. I hope. I haven't. He didn't confirm. He didn't respond to me with what the 5 was though. So he gave us a lot. I can't. That's up in the air still. But I would. Wemby's probably going to get it. But hey, he might not play 65 games, and I think Scoot is ready. I think Scoot's ready to do it. Let's tango. I'm going for 20 a night.
I think Scoot looks the best. I know Chet is going to be in that top 3. I think Scoot is going to be in that top 3 too. But when you mention the 65 games, I don't know, man. I think with the way that Scoot plays, and I'm not wishing nothing on my young brother by no means. I covered
We always.
Yeah, man. I've mentioned it for a while. I watched them beat the hell out of Scoot through a full G League season. I watched it front row. This NBA season, he's gonna get knocked to the floor a lot, and I don't think he's gonna miss a lot of games. Like I don't think he's gonna miss a lot more. For instance, to not make the 65, but if he plays 62, miss 20, it wouldn't shock me. We'll see what happens. I mean,
right.
I think Chet ends up higher.
I'm glad that you're saying this too, because in some conversation, a lot of people love Scoot, and I think we had a unique perspective being so close to G League Ignite as we are, and knowing that, hey, it wasn't all roses while he was there.
Yeah.
Just saying that, putting it that way, like, and that, does it mean nothing? Was it just it kind of was halfway through. It was like, all right, well, let's kind of write this out at Ignite. But he does have a play style that is reminiscent of, a Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is kind of the comp to make. Ja Morant plays kind of as not the same at all, but like he's another guy where it's like he's gonna throw himself at the other team.
Yeah, I see OKC Russ. I see somebody who is going downhill. Even a lot of his passes that he'll probably make it'll probably be going downhill. And to be quite honest with you, I think this will be his team. I know you mentioned Dame earlier. I think a lot of people in Portland, I haven't talked to anybody in Portland specifically, but I have talked around, and the last, I don't want to say straw, but the last confirmation was, yes, we understand Dame is a superstar. Yes, we understand Dame axed out. Yes, we understand that he wants to go to Miami. We have to find the best trade attribute or the trade that fits what we want to do. Everything boiled down to what Scoot looked like on that court. If Scoot didn't look right, sorry, Dame, we're going to try to work this out. We're going to try to figure this out. I think with Scoot
Right.
looking at what he did yesterday,
Right. We're
or
gonna
2
be
days ago,
smart.
rather, now they'll give Dame what he wants, and they probably will send him to Miami. Because of that, they will get a third team, maybe even a fourth team involved.
What's spicy, I don't know, maybe on the lowest of keys, but it's another thread over there in Portland that where I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, Dame's out of there. Scoot's not wearing number 00 next to Dame out there as number 0. No, Dame's gone. Dame's gone. It was at a press conference right after the draft. I kid you not. I saw the 00. I was like, oh, Dame's not coming back.
I'll tell you when I knew Dame wasn't coming back, and I told Dave McMenamin this. Shout out to Dave. I told Dave, I understand that it's our job to ask these questions and things of that nature, but the moment that they made Scoot make his pitch to Dame, I said, y'all jinxed Colin with that last time. I was like, y'all remember that. So as soon as they made Colin Sexton make his pitch to LeBron to stay in Cleveland, I was like, yeah, buddy, this ain't gonna go the way y'all think it is.
That's another kiss of death.
I was like, yeah, y'all just jinxed Portland. Thanks for that.
Kiss of death. Man, I think we both like Scoot though. I think we like Scoot the player a lot, and there's a lot to like there. He's got some seasoning, physically, and in between he's got jumpers to him. He's got a mid-range game, and hopefully the right personnel is going to let him know, hey, buddy, let's get these floaters going. You know what I mean? Let's get this, pick and roll. Let's slow it down. Let's learn how to ease off the gas pedal. And that's going to be to everybody's, betterment long term. And this is a throwaway year for Portland, but I didn't think that they would be interested in keeping Simons. What I think about it is now is like, yeah, no, they can keep Simons because they'll be competitive, between with a backcourt of him, Simons, you got Sharp taking shots and Jeremy Grant taking shots.
You know what? And this is just a name that came to mind. Jeremy's there, yes, and we understand that. I know Daryl Morey has been asking for a lot. However, if I'm Portland, I'm making a phone call about Tobias Harris. I'm seeing what they want.
Let's just go get them. Yeah, they got space.
I'm seeing what you want. Because obviously you would have to give up a body, if not 2 bodies forward, but that's fine. If you're replacing it with Tobias Harris, 9 times out of 10 is better than what you got already anyway.
Kind of like that. I don't know why Philadelphia gave away Thibault. I like Thibault. I got stock in Thibault still. I got big stock. I'm gonna double down. Yeah. And
I can almost completely forgot about Thibault. He was there tonight, so that may be a reason why you don't go get Tobias. But I mean, Thibault.
No, I'm just thinking of that deal. I'm like, yeah. How do we get that done? And I'm like, that's right. Philly already gave them Thibault as well. Like, however he got there, he might have been a 3-team. Anyway, yeah, no, man. It's a lot. What else has been happening? Anything? Is there any other highlights that you had from Summer League, man?
I'm gonna see if I can go like rapid fire for you. Chet Holmgren's ready. Jabari Smith has probably made the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2. Just what it looks like on paper. All you pundits and scouts and analysts that said that Cam Whitmore, and we should all be worried about Cam Whitmore, you guys are going to regret that for the next 12 years.
I'm very glad he didn't land. I'm very glad Miami took Jaquez instead, because I felt like if he went to Miami, you just literally gave Jimmy Butler a pupil, and thankfully it didn't happen. But Jaime could be. I don't know. I think we both like Jaime's as well.
Hey, absolutely. So, to be honest with you, Cason Wallace can shoot the hell out of the ball.
I like Cason Wallace a lot, bro. Lot. It says a lot when you average 2.5 steals, 3 steals in college.
Absolutely. The problem is, though,
and
he's going to compete with he's going to compete with Trey Mann for minutes.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how much we see him this year.
he'll have to, we'll have to watch his minutes for sure in rotation. But it's one
Put him in the
where,
G League and let him do what JD Davison did last year. Let him torch the G League and make him put you in a Jaden Hardy situation where you got to create room for him.
yeah. Since we got him in conversation, yeah, I like Cason Wallace. I liken him to a Davion Mitchell, but I like him even more. And he's younger, and he has more. He's much more of a body that I want on my team. And he's going to guard. Oh man, Davion Mitchell, if he was 4 inches taller, bigger,
That's what I was about to say.
and
Absolutely.
and younger, and it's like with more game,
However,
but he can pick up like that.
I think Mitchell has a dog in him more than Kaysen does.
Right. You would
And
want that.
I think that's even without the 4 inches. It's like Draymond. Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking at the potential Warrior lineup for this year, and they're saying Draymond at the 5 won't work. I don't know who thinks it won't work. Like, as long as Draymond got that dog in him being 6'6" don't matter.
Yeah. I don't know about Golden State right now, but I just don't know about that team. I'm just waiting to see it. I'm like, what literally, what the hell is this? Like,
I
really?
said the same thing. I said the same thing with KD because it made no sense in my head. I was like, it's going to be too fluid. And then I saw it and was like, it's too fluid. This is beautiful basketball. I think they'll find a way to make it work, though. They always do.
Of course. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Bro, there's a lot to be excited about.
I'll put it this way. If Steph Curry had no problem taking a back seat to letting Jordan Poole initiate the offense, he's not going to do it with Chris Paul. He has no problem with it. Trust me.
Oh, dude, it's going to be beautiful. And if
That's
you see
my average 35 this year.
if you see Steph looks about 15 to 20 pounds heavier than he did 7 years ago, let's just say. And that means that, hey, he can play the 2 if you want to play the 2. He can easily play the 2 today. And he stepped up his defense. And
you're putting 2s and 3s like Jimmy Butler on him anyway.
right.
So what difference would it make?
Man, why we gotta talk about all these very competitive Western Conference teams?
You started.
I got to worry about San Antonio creeping and winning the damn NBA Cup.
That'd be good to see.
We'll have to talk some more on Summer League, man. I think that was about it. That was about it for me, just because I know I got to sit down and ingest it some more. But
yeah, man.
It was it was another good one, and it's still going, of course, by all means. I feel like I'm missing out, but I'm glad to hear that you on the ground and just picking up everything still.
Most definitely, and like we said before too, we know how summer league runs and things of that nature, but we know how the first weekend typically is. But I'm pretty sure that you'll catch a day of action, if not more. I'm not worried about that. Trust me.
Yeah, that as well. It was the first 3 days. And one reason I didn't slide this weekend was because I went to NBA Con.
Yeah, man.
Slid to NBA Con. Like I said, was lost in Mandalay Bay. Took me 45 minutes longer than I thought I was going to get there at. Looked at my little schedule for the day with notifications like, well, I ain't going to be there for that. But no, man, what I would say about NBA Con was that you got to see it. You got a preview. You got to put the ring on, bro. I'm mad about that.
Yeah, they shout out to Jason of Beverly Hills. They had a couple of reps up here. Yeah, man. Jesse and Brandon. Shout out to both of those gentlemen. We went in on Thursday for the sneak peek. And for anybody who knows me, I know you know for a fact, anytime a championship ring comes out, I'm one of those people that I want to know every little detail of it. And I think
let me see what's in there.
I think I said it on the last radio show. I know that New England's ring against the Falcons, it has 283 diamonds. That I pay attention to small stuff like that. Like I like the small details in every ring. And when I got there, they were showing somebody one of them. And obviously I went over and I looked at it. Might have been Golden State's 2022 ring. And I looked at it and I instantly saw the bubble ring. That's what I wanted to see. And I was like, can I see that bubble ring? And they were like, yeah, we're not going to take it out the rest of the weekend. So I guess we could do it for you guys. So once we did that, like they all they did was take the glass cover off. So when you see that, it's like, so do I reach in and grab this? And
another great question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know. Like,
Another great question. Can we see that one?
I mean, because I tell you guys all the time, the word my dad taught me at a young age, like this works in women, this works with business, this works in everything in life. You ask for what you want in life. That you just ask and see what happens. And sure enough, they were super dope about it. They let us grab it, and I think that actually the Laker bubble ring was Troy Daniels' ring, and I was looking at the video earlier, and I put it on, and I think I had questions about which ring possibly cost the most with the material that went into it, which I asked their favorite rings, things like that. But you kind of talked about it. Seeing Kobe's two last rings, not his physical ring, but seeing the ring that he was a part of, seeing all four Golden State rings, that Milwaukee ring is stupid.
No, dude, the first Laker, the '09 ring had like, you know what I mean? It was a ring. And then the '10 ring had two Stanley O'Brien had two Larry O'Brien trophies on it. Look at me. Look at the hockey nerd in me, bro.
Yeah, Stanley. I heard Stanley come out.
I did. And I knew it was wrong. Look at me, bro.
That's hilarious.
It had two Larry OBs on the 2010 ring. And it was like, yes, sir. Like, you know what I mean?
But seeing those Warrior rings in person, like seeing the blue backdrop change.
I did not need to see all four Warriors rings. I never needed to walk on the carpet with all four of them and just be reminded that they got all four of those when they got them and how they got them.
You didn't like the evolution of it? Like,
yes, because on top of that, the '09 ring. All right, let's just timeline. Look at this one. And then for me, that Milwaukee one was incredible, low key. Because it had the engraving on the inside of the wraparound, and you look at that 2009 ring and you look at that 2021 2022 ring, and it's like, oh, y'all going crazy.
Those are the ones
right now, bro.
Those are the ones. Like, and on top of that, Jason of Beverly Hills just secured a deal with the Denver Nuggets, and they secured a deal with our Vegas Golden Knights. So they also have the
NBA ring. Oh boy, ring night is gonna go crazy. That's for sure. That's
absolutely.
Man.
And wait, real quick too. Going back to that Bucks ring, I don't know if you know, but on the side where it says "Fear the Deer" and on the other side where it says "Bucks and 6," I don't know if you know, but those are two buttons on there. You can push those buttons.
Oh my
Lord! It
takes
off the face of the ring, and it goes on a chain.
Oh my Lord!
So it drops down to where you have a little locket, and you can put it on the chain. The only thing you got to go get is your own chain.
God. And that's what's up, because you had a real intimate, like, a media experience, appearance, to where you didn't kind of have the hustle and bustle.
Right.
You didn't slide any time after that, did you? I know you were busy. You were heavy summer league this weekend.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. Today was supposed to be the day. I was supposed to go back, and
how could you pass on the Wemby second game? I'm sure you're not trading it. You know what I mean?
Nah.
And so I saw it full swing, hustle and bustle. And I went pretty much dolo. Shout out to Chris Matthews, my sports director. Shout out to Joey Graziano, the pretty much, brain child behind what NBA Con turned out to be. He did an interview, and, I got some tickets that way, and just was like, all right, I'm just going to go check it out. Go check it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, who's going per se. I not really going to cover it, not really going, to do. I just go check it out. I don't really go to SneakerCon, which was ironically next door. Like I said, I don't go to many festivals right now. You know what I mean? Like, we've all been our fair share. So I was like, this is, Target. This is up my alley. And I thought that it was a good plan, good idea that was executed well. And I had fun there. You know what I mean? And
to be honest with you,
I just kind of roamed. I was roaming, and I wanted to be in place for that Adam Silver segment. Didn't realize it would be a part of the live broadcast audience.
Yeah, man.
And it was like, whoa, what do you have? Look what we have here.
You're in the middle of it. Whether you knew you was in the middle of it or not, you were. And to be honest with you, when I went on Thursday, I'm gonna be completely honest, because I don't like crowds. I am.
You're like, cool. That was for me.
Yeah, I was appreciative of it, but it was half and half, because every booth wasn't manned. So, for instance, the free and easy booth, I wanted to know more about the material there, but there was nobody there.
Man, shout out to
So,
those ladies. I checked them out. They had some skateboard decks. Copped the hat. Perfect example. Shout out to the folks at Players Culture. Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's funny. Player Association. I was looking at them too. Is that the one you're talking about?
It might even be Player Style. I'm not even going to do this right now. I got the bag right here. Hold on.
No worries. Go get that. While you do that, I will mention just all the different booths. Like when I went on Thursday, I was more so worried that fans would go during the weekend and they would feel away because I felt like fans would probably feel away because they didn't get to see everything. Obviously, as media, they set it up to where they made sure we would see everything. But at the end of the day, I wanted everybody else, the paying public, to get the chance to experience everything, because seeing it on Thursday without anybody in there, it was literally a basketball carnival. And I had the time of my life there. They opened it up for like 3 hours for media. And I literally was telling my friends before I went, I'm not going to spend 3 hours there. I'll be done in less than an hour. I spent 3 hours there.
Dude, I saw a coworker, and it was like, I don't know. I was making my way out, to be honest. I could have stayed for 2 Chainz. I was like, bro, I'm gonna get on out of here. Like, I watched Blast from a distance. Shout out to Blast. Blast is also in Vegas every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Blast is available. Shout out to Blast though, because he's doing it, bro. That brother's definitely doing it. And that's a Vegas joke. And I saw the homie. He was like, "Oh, but how long you been here?" I was like, since like 2:33." He was like, "Damn." I was like, "Yeah,
7:00. Yeah.
I've been kicking it, bro. I've been really posted, man, and I want to do this justice on there because we saw it, so we're talking with this mutual understanding of what was there. I just listed out what was there so that way we can kind of recap it. It was a 2K neighborhood brought to life, and if you play these recent 2Ks, they've been going all out with the neighborhood. Like, it is a neighborhood for real. But you walk in, and all the streets, you walk in and turn, the streets have names. It's like, Bounce Drive or something, bring it back, like Dish It Drive, and like it was funny, Lob City Way or something like that. They had the NBA Convo stage, which was an auditorium, like small auditorium kind of vibe. Not auditorium because it was more intimate than that. It was like, just, individual seats where they had sessions with different guest speakers.
Almost like a small theater.
Yes, theater is a good way to say it. They had the stage, which had curtains covering it, and they rolled the curtains up, and folks ran like it was Astro World, like, to get to the front. And I'm like, yo, look at this. Like, I didn't know if I was standing in line. And then I realized, I was like, oh, they're just going to lift it, then it's go time after that. Like, they're just closing it off until it's ready. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Saw that, was not ready for that. But the stage, that's where they held the in-season tournament announcement special, aired on NBA TV, ESPN, and where Blast later performed, 2 Chainz later performed. They had the main court. You walk in first, you see dead in front of you a main, court with bleachers like the Drew League, and some summer league teams came in and practiced there. They had some other little events there scheduled throughout every day. Every day had a schedule. You knew what was happening when, and you could kind of plan it out. That's why I'd like to say that it was executed well. Like, I knew what was happening, like, there, like, and what I wanted to do if I could. This NBA ID thing, I couldn't make it. The line was ridiculous. Okay. And it had the customization. Did you get to see that?
I did. That was actually the first.
Did you get to do it?
Yeah, when we walked in, they gave us a couple.
I wanted to, bro. It was OD, and it was not moving.
It was, well, what they did, they were doing T-shirts, crossbody bags, and I forgot the third thing. But when we walked in for media, they gave us all the crossbody bag and let us kind of pick what we wanted. I went generic. I went the Summer League logo. I went the Larry O.B. and I went, what else did I do? I did the The Summer League logo. I did NBA Con. I did the NBA Con logo. So I got my
Yeah.
crossbody bag. It's in there. They gave us the shirt. But yeah, that was definitely an experience. The LOB was in there though, so I was hoping you would go in just to see the LOB.
Dude, trust and it was insane. You weren't making it in that. Like they knew, you could see the workers in the back of it. Like, yo, these folks not getting in here. Like, and it's like, you know, folks wanting to ask questions and stuff. But it's like that was one of the real elements of like, hey, this is busting. Who knew it was gonna be like this?
Exactly.
And I want one of those bags. Trust and believe. I copped the tee to fill the void. And that was a dope stage. They had all these. You got the 360-degree slow-mo panoramic picture 4D. I thought about doing one of those, didn't do it. They had temporary.
You should have did it.
I know. I was like, damn, I didn't know I was gonna go and have to put myself out and be willing to put myself out there to do so much fun stuff. I was like,
bro, that was like
I had to shoot the 20-foot shot.
I didn't do that. So
I had to shoot that.
Like when I walked in, I did the NBA ID, and then when I was leaving, one of the ladies at the AT&T Fit Cam was like, "You want to hop in?" And I was like, all right. And that's what's wrong with men now, because I didn't even know what it was. And I was like, all right, let's do it. She put me in front of that camera, dog. I was like, what's happening right now?
Shimmy, you know what I mean?
The other gentleman was like, you want a basketball? I was like, yeah, a little bit, kind of.
If you don't know, and that's what they were doing during the show. And that's why I'm like, this is hard. They were playing like different music in that section at the time. I was like, this is hard. I want to do it. Do I got 30 minutes to allocate to make sure I still do this, or do I got not even that? It was like maybe like 15. Like I was like, do I do it? And do I stand here and do what move am I doing with the ball during the picture? If you haven't seen Terrell's shot, do it for reference and give it a double tap. But that was just one element, bro. We had then that was the main court. They had courts galore. They had courts if you wanted to go shoot. I guess if you could have brought a basketball. They had courts, they had times, they had lines. The kids' courts were dope. They had multiple kids' courts, some on a 360 turnaround, some were at dunking level. I'm like, this is hard. Like, Bash gonna tear this up in 2 years.
Exactly.
He gonna go crazy in here.
And Bash is a big boy. Bash might be able to do it now.
He go crazy.
He might be able to.
I would be holding him back by all means. I was like, this is hard. They had another little playground, you know, kind of set up all the little top shots, you know, pop-up buckets, scoop. They had a little cabana sections to where if you didn't want to sit in the theater or you could the aired summer league in between, you could post up with a Starbucks. They had freaking the drip section was crazy. So did you kind of get to see that since before they were all set up? Bro, the drip sections were crazy. It was some pieces.
Yeah, man. I think you actually got the full to intake.
Yeah.
I think they were still putting up some booths when we were there, but shout out to Bleacher Report. They had a really, really dope setup.
Yeah.
I'm a person who collects vinyls.
They had a record pop. I'm like, whose record pop is this?
I'm looking behind me because right behind me I have Victory Lap and KOD on vinyl. And those are sitting right behind me. I don't know what else is behind there, but I see those too. I know I got Good Kid, Mad City over there, but I'm a vinyl collector. So I say that to say, I spent the most time at the ring display and at the records. I was at the records like, are y'all going to sell these or are these just in here? Because I want all of these.
They were for sale, were they not?
I'm going to be honest. They wasn't selling to us then anyway. So
I saw that and appreciated it. Shout out to Tito. I got a Playboy Cardi on vinyl. You know, if you know me, you know. And yeah, Bleacher Report had a dope booth, man. But it was mad ones. It was black culture ones, HBCU ones. It was, you know, women owned. It was minority owned. It was, you know, individual, and it was like good. It was hardy, bro. I was like, oh, this is nice. I feel like I'm at a real high culture swap meet.
This is the league. That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like but at the same time too, this league has given us every indication that none of these leagues get it right, but this is by far the closest league to it. This is by far the closest league to it. And situations like this prove it. I mean, like the hoop bus. Like if you're a hoops fan,
it had the hoop bus right next to it, dog.
What? Like seeing the hoop bus in real life was a game to me. Like that was a video game to me. Like when I was able to hop on the hoop bus, it's like this is real life. Like y'all drive
Yeah.
around and just throw basketballs to people. Like
Yeah,
this.
nah, man. And seeing how, yeah, so getting to see how engaged the kids were, the families were, the solo folks were, the hoopers. You seeing whole AAU teams pull up. You know what I mean? Kids with the jerseys around their neck. I'm like, this is dope. They had video game booths set up. They had 2K running. I hopped in the car and did the F123 around the Vegas
Okay.
Grand Prix track. I did do that before I left. I was like, it's only 2 people over there.
How was that?
Oh, bro, of course I had to hop on the demo after the fool in front of me got first place and made it look mad easy. And then I'm like, all right, great. I got to follow this guy up. And it's intense, bro. It's intense. You know what I mean? You gotta lock in. And I know that there was more to it than I was gonna get from the 3 laps, but it's a lot. And it was a good feel. It was I'm building the F1 hype beast for sure. And
For
I know
sure.
the video games are kind of going crazy right now, but that game's on the list. There's an AEW game on the list, Madden 2K's on the list, UFC's on the list. It's getting crazy right now. Who knew it would get like this? But yeah, no, man. So that was a cool experience. I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna try this now because I want a cop and I'm probably not. So let me see what it's talking about in the whole race car joint.
Yep.
It was dope, man. It was dope. And this is something that they could take on the road. They could do this in any city. But it being a part of this where all the venue is and attraction and announcement making and moves and appearances, this is going to be a Vegas staple. And if this is a Rolling Loud, this is going to be the trademark one every year.
So I'll say
it's not
this.
going anywhere.
I completely agree with you. I'm gonna tell you, and I haven't talked to I haven't gotten any confirmation from anybody, but I have talked to people. And I said that the league has a brilliant opportunity to do this twice a year. Every year in Vegas for Summer League, and you got to do it for All-Star Weekend.
It's done. Oh, why not, bro? Absolutely, why not? That's how, bro. And that's what made it cool, man. We have a good Vegas stamp at this point. We've both been out here for 5-6 years. You know what I mean? Going on, whatever. And it's like, it was dope because now I cover news and local and everything. It's like I'm seeing this was a local spotlight and a TV, social media, like folks flew in for it. I can tell. I was standing right next to some folks who were speaking several different languages, like throughout the
I was
day.
about to say it's an international thing that was brought to Vegas for sure.
And so it was dope, man. It was dope, and added to the list of things to do. And I agree with you. That's a great idea. We didn't get to talk about the cup. I like the cup. I love the idea.
I'm gonna be honest, bro.
It might take a second.
I don't know what it is.
I
was here this weekend and I still don't know what it is.
I'll say that Adam Silver had a good line that, new traditions take time. So let's not, be surprised if it feels weird or if we're caught by surprise that we really enjoyed it. Because, we're also new to cup culture. We're going to taste the cup culture with Stanley Cup and what that does. And it's like Richard Jefferson had the next best line at the end of the broadcast when he said, oh, there's going to be some drinks flowing out of that cup soon. And it's like, hey, that's going to be dope. See your team flex with it. Why I think that it's just cool regardless is like that it's maximizing the regular season. People, complain that you don't need to pay attention to the first 3-4 months until after Christmas anyway. It was like, all right, look, we're going to put something on the line before that to where when the season starts, you're kind of going to be a little jazzed already because something's kind of in the near future, some kind of prize. I don't know if you've heard the snippet from the Jeff Teague podcast where shout out to Jeff Teague who's doing his thing. Yeah. But he said, he asked the guys, he was like, fellas, would y'all want a max contract or a ring if you had to choose either one? Ooh. And they all kind of threw their answers out there. Jeff Teague, but the overwhelming majority was, fool, I want a max contract. Stop playing with me. There's $500K on the line. That's incentive individually. But if not, is winning just not the incentive? Like, you just cool with, once it gets there, because it's like, all right, well, now let's win this. From a player evaluation side, you're getting a taste earlier in the season of, how did so-and-so perform in this little closeout of this Final Four? How did he look ready to kind of play with a little taste of pressure in the spotlight, neutral site? And, first of its kind, like wants to hoist a trophy. Like, what does this look like? And how will this be remembered?
I'll say this. growing up a traditional Pacer fan, I think it'd be dope to see teams like Indiana and Portland and Memphis hoist the trophy because that's probably the only one that they will hoist. So
Right.
I think it's cool from that perspective.
The Larry O'B's hard to get. That's why it does have the prestige. You know what I mean? And I don't think that this will water that down. I like that it'll in the bracket and seeding of this, how they described it. Your last season's record factors into the initial pools.
Grouping, right?
Okay, I like that aspect of like, hey, you don't get to just take that season off and think that you know it never existed. Hey, buddy, here you go. And it, like you said, it won't matter because that's not the end of the goal, you know,
right?
End of the day, but you know, it's competing with NFL and college football and starting college basketball and the Major League Baseball, like play up postseason. Like it's at a time where it's like, all right, this is gonna be cool. They said the games will be on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm like, this isn't gonna be bad. Like, and it'll at least, you know, give us more of a reason to kind of see what's going on at that time of the season. And if you're a team that's maximizing what you can do for that year, you're gonna take it. Not different than you would any other game because you're approaching that next game mentality. But it's something that you'll try to maximize and, you know.
I mean, and at the end of the day, anything like that, it is what you make it, right? And I watched Taylor Jenkins take Summer League hella serious 3 years ago. I watched it with my own eyes. He was coaching like his life depended on it in the playoffs. Willie Green did the same thing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Those guys carried that into the regular season and they had successful seasons. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is a good thing if a team like give me a middle of the road team. Give me an OKC. Let's say an OKC.
New Orleans.
Maybe you're a Final Four team and you don't win it. But now you're going into the new year like, hey, dog,
it's not even
Final Four team.
It's not even the All-Star break, and you're like, hold on, nah, I know we're not tripping. Like, you know what I mean? We've seen the Commissioner's Cup in the WNBA. It ain't bad. The Aces won it last year.
The Commissioner Cup,
they won the championship.
Tells you who's going to be in the finals.
It was a preview of the finals last year in the WNBA, and the same result. But maybe it wasn't actually. I can't remember.
No, it was Chicago. I was about to say it was a preview.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't actually.
What we thought was going to be the finals.
But right, and it's dope because then sometimes you know we wanted to see. Say we just saw it was 2008, and we had Kobe and LeBron in the NBA Cup final.
Right. Exactly.
And it's East versus West until the bracket's done at the end. And in the NBA, we used to give home court advantage to teams for winning their division in the top three, even if you didn't have a top three record. Divisions have pretty much faded away, except that's what your schedule is based around now. Now it's like, all right, here we go. We got to play Golden State. Like, Lakers, like, why do we got to play this game against, I think the Phoenix is in the Lakers bracket. It's like, now, if, the Suns win, everybody's going, Phoenix has the title in this season-long battle, and this is how they came out of their little pool or whatever. And we know the NBA is the number one league with the drama and storylines and just day-to-day chit-chatter. This is going to add to it.
For sure.
We'll enjoy it.
There's more storylines. That's all it is. More stuff for us to watch. More stuff for us to tune into. More stuff for us to argue about.
And Adam Silver, he's going steady with Las Vegas, but Adam Silver, go ahead and, put a ring on it. Give us a team. Like, we know you dig it out here. You're showing it. Give us the draft at least too, maybe. I don't know if we had the NBA draft out here in a while, but it's like, we know you like it out here, Adam. Come on. Give us a team. Stop playing.
2026.
Stadium's in the work.
That'd already be it.
Oaks View Group is on my notes.
There are neighbors, by the way.
What you mean?
There are neighbors in the new studio building. They're downstairs.
Wow. That was a bomb that just was dropped on air that you guys won't even understand right now. We'll just kind of bounce from that to some things I want to just rapid fire with before we wrap this recording up, because as we were going, I'm like, man, there's so much I still kind of want to get in with you on this episode. But
you gotta stay for the next one,
Yeah, of course. One is now, man, elaborate on Talk That Talk, man. And because this podcast, D Hoop University, is a Talk That Talk media company, also production as well. Like, is falls under the umbrella. So go ahead and mention, introduce that for the folks and shine some light on it.
Yeah, man. Talk That Talk. Originally, it started out with the radio show. It started out with the radio show. I didn't even have a name originally. So shout out to my guy 2K1G. Shout out to my guy Taekwon Griffin from high school. Yeah, man. I actually had him do our theme song when we first started up at UNLV, and I told him I wanted a certain type of energy to it, and he definitely provided a certain. I take that back. This was at Cerritos. We were at Cerritos, and I was getting ready to do this show, and I told him I wanted some sort of energy, and sure enough, man, that's kind of what he came back with. I didn't think he was gonna have any rapping on it per se, but he did. He
Yeah.
came back with a full song. It was
He's
LA
like,
inspired. So
yeah.
yeah, man, it was some Clayton Kershaw bars in there. It was some Kobe bars in there.
Can I get that on my phone? Is there any way for me to just get that track on my phone?
I think it's in my email. I can send it to
All
you.
right, please. Yeah. Because I
know
know the words to it. Trust me.
Yeah, bro, it's a classic record. Like I tell them all the time, it's a classic record. It gave us the name Talk That Talk. I didn't have an idea for it originally, and that's what it started as. It started as a radio show originally.
Chatterbox.
Yeah, man. It started as a radio show, and then when I got to college, and I met a lot of like-minded people at UNLV, yourself being one of them. I mean, I kind of just started to just see how people work individually. And once I saw how different groups and different people worked individually, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the goal and the route that I was taking. I have no problem pointing to these people, but I look at the Ringer, I look at the Athletic, I look at the Undefeated, I look at things like that, and they've set the blueprint for us. And just to put it in short terms, and I don't have no beef with nobody out here, but plain and simple, our sports stories were always taught to us through one lens, and it was taught to us through the middle-aged white man lens. And I know you guys know Hoop very well. I don't know how well you guys know me, but I think on the surface, you guys both, or I guess you guys understand, and neither one of us are middle-aged white men. So our storytelling is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little unique, and that's what this brand is about. This brand is about giving people that know the business and understand what we do on a day in and day out basis. It was originally built by people that, weren't going to take no for an answer. So because of that, they went ahead and put all their eggs in one basket, and that basket is a Talk That Talk media company. And I mean, I'd say we're doing pretty well for ourselves, sitting next to, USA Today and the Washington Post and things like that.
Shout out to the predecessors that walk these shoes in this industry before us. The folks like, as you said that, I had to think about like, a Stuart Scott who tailored himself and carried himself the way it needed to be to do it, and did it and paved the way and kept things going, and was pioneer in the game. And a little more light on Terrell, man. Like we're both from SoCal. Terrell, the Wood, that's home. You know what I mean, right?
Wood is home,
and is home means a lot. This is somebody that has seen Nipsey Hussle more than one occasion. Like had conversations with him, and I only do that, mention him on here to say that you've internalized that marathon mentality, and it's hit home in terms of the way you conduct yourself, your work, your plan, your execution, follow up on all of this. And for one, hey, it's inspired me. I'll shout you out by all means on that as well. But it's like, let's go. Hey, I'm trying to get stride for stride. Like, let's get to it, man. I believe the same way you do in ourselves. Let's work. Let's work then. And it's a pleasure. It's a crazy thing. I'm glad you mentioned Cerritos, because I don't know if you've heard a couple episodes with Jacob Owada on here. I don't know if that name sounds familiar at all.
The name sounds familiar, but I haven't heard the episodes.
Not until it was off air that me and Jake have a conversation. When you record and you have those conversations, like you say something right as soon as you're done recording, it's like, why didn't you tell me that? I'm like, why didn't we get this? I wish we could have got this. He's like, yeah, bro, I know Terrell, man. We had a speech class together at Cerritos College. I think,
Oh, that's crazy. No, I hated my speech in that class. That's crazy.
bro, he said, I remember he was a really good speaker, a really, really good speaker.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. That's what I was gonna say next. Either way, bro. And yeah,
Insane.
dog, I'm like, look at this small world for one. Shout out to Doritos, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Two C's, the Dirty Birds.
And dude, yeah, no, man, like, things happen. I don't believe that, a lot of things can happen. Everything ain't a coincidence. So I that, just boil it down to that. And yeah, man, I'm glad you got to kind of shine a light on that, talk that talk. Terrell has built this and developed it and made some real legwork out here in Las Vegas. This man, if you've listened thus far, you've heard him talk about, whether it was I told Dave McMenamin to himself, or whether it was, this man talks to Becky Hammond, talks to Candace Parker, Asia Wilson on the regular, talk to,
You do too. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I know, but I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, and it's like, yo, it's a grind. He's living it, and has matched that in step with the foundation of the company, and working it through, and like I said, more legwork and grinding. And shout out, man. I appreciate, hey, I'm support. I'm in your corner by all means, and I know it's likewise. I know we're on the same page with that.
Man, absolutely. And to be honest with you, like I said, you mentioned Nip, so I'm gonna go on a little diatribe for a quick second. Nip, you kind of talked about it, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but you kind of talked about it. Several conversations with Nip, several interactions with Nip, and I think the biggest thing with Nip, I never took a picture, and that's one of the things that kind of like really hit home once he was no longer here. But it it means everything to me for a person to see me and think Nip. You know what I mean? That means a lot to me. It means a lot. I'm actually wearing some marathon merch as we speak, but it's somebody that at the end of the day let us know in person. Like, you know what I mean? Let us know in person that you could go out and make your dreams come true and then come back and change the place that you were at before. And I think that's the biggest thing about Nip, especially with me being a huge Nip fan. The music is great, right? And his teachings are great, right? But I said it the day that he passed, and I think it's going to be people like myself and other people that come from Slauson and Crenshaw, even Inglewood, just all of Southern California as a whole, that will use him as the blueprint. And I truthfully think that the things that are birthed in Nip's name will be his legacy. That's what I truthfully think. But yeah, man, like I said before, it doesn't happen without a team. And I've told you guys, see y'all face plenty of times. I'll tell you guys in emails all the time. I'm appreciative for every single person that's around me. Like I said, that first summer league, I learned a lot. That first summer league, I will not forget sitting next to Washington Post, sitting next to like I said, the USA Today, or whether it be the RJ, whoever it is.
Yeah.
We were there as UNLV students, and we covered the hell out of it in 2019.
Equally qualified, equally reputable, and got the job done.
And I have no problem with anything. I will line our list of accomplishments up with anybody at any other entity or organization here in Vegas. I am that confident in this group. We can line up recognition. That's fine too.
By all means, man. And putting the ball on that. There's an episode of the OD podcast that we recorded that, that of course that wasn't the plan beforehand, but I don't remember how far after, but you and me, on campus, after Nip passed, hour and change, bro, I think. And, that was a stamp. That was something that we both felt like we just, like, it was just a meeting. It was let's do it, bro. Let's just do this. Like, I had a similar moment with my boy Kendall. Just, we're both from the land, bro. I had a similar moment with my boy Kendall soon after Cole passed, man, where it was just like you trying to, vibe real quick, man, and if it was good, it was what it needed to be. And,
and I'll admit with the Nip thing, obviously I've met Kobe twice, maybe, I think 2, maybe 3 times. Nip, I lost count. With all due respect to my guy Nip, I couldn't talk when Kobe passed. I couldn't do it. You were not gonna put a mic in my face. You weren't gonna put a camera in my face. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hold it together when Kobe passed, for sure.
Yeah, no, man. It was my pops' birthday. Crazy. This man, biggest fan, and one of a kind, man. So those are the legends, bro. Always pay homage and respect, and remember what we're doing this from. This is a thing that we do on this podcast. I like to revisit history, and I've had a lot of ideas for segments on here to revisit certain things, because we just can't forget that things happened, and because history does repeat itself. But if it doesn't, there's things to be learned from it, and if we ignore it, that's not that's not wise. And in all aspects, but so that was an impromptu version of something that I'm glad, just played out, because I want this is more than sports on here. And I'm glad that, we're kind of breaking a fourth wall on it, even to an extent of just, what we're doing with it and how we take it and approach it and what it means. But that's all, real talk, man. I got one last one for you, man. And I got another shout out that I'll get in there before we kind of wrap it up, man. But now that we're in Vegas, bro, you're more loyal than I am. Team wise, sports franchise wise, with your fandom. I would say you're more deeply rooted in who your teams are, and less less willing to cave. Right. I'm a homer, bro. I'm a Raiders fan now. You know what I'm saying? I'm full fledged. Yo, sign me up this way. I'm at the parade. Sign me up. I got the Aces merch now from NBA Con. And I'm still rocking with the land, because we got a marriage with LeBron right now, and that's just what it is. But where, now that you cover all these teams and you kind of have a duty to report on them and give them all shine on your shows, who do you like the most? Which team has actually grown on you, and if any, rather? Like, do you find yourself like, oh, I want y'all to get it together, or I like this? Of course, we love the Aces. We can't be mad at what they got going on. But
that's a great question. I'll put it this way: I have two different answers for you. I have the two teams that I like to cover the most, and I'll probably give you top three, and then I have the team that grew on me the most. So to answer your direct question,
one of them is the Aviators. I know. Go ahead.
Absolutely, at 100%.
Go ahead.
I love my guys, bro. You can't tell me anything bad about the Aviators. Those are my guys. So the team that grew on me for sure the most, I gotta go to Knights, man. I gotta go to Knights. I grew up a Mighty Duck fan, and I say Mighty Duck because of the cartoon. I grew up a Duck fan because of the cartoon. So me not ever really being able to capture the feeling of what hockey was like in Anaheim growing up, I don't think I was really attached to them. And even from the press box covering a Knights game, you get the sense of pride. You get the sense of just camaraderie, even in the stands. So I'll probably say that group has probably grown on me the most. And I find myself, when I'm not covering them, cheering for them. So I'll definitely say probably the Knights. And then in terms of teams that I like to cover the most, this is going to sound like a shot, but it is what it is. I like covering winning teams. So the Aviators would be third on that list. But the top two are two women-led groups. And I'm going to go with Lindy LaRocque's group at UNLV, and I'm going to go with the Aces here in the WNBA. Those are probably my two most fun teams to cover. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Those are the two programs that win the most.
Yeah, shout out to that women's basketball team at UNLV, the Lady Rebels, because they made the tourney this year.
Yeah, man, back-to-back years, man. You got to put some respect on that program's name now.
Man, ran off 20 in a row, I believe.
22?
This year, 22. I was going to say, I know it cleared 20. And
I know for a fact that it was second in all of the nation behind South Carolina, so that means something.
These are things that we cannot say didn't happen.
Absolutely.
Put some respect on it.
Absolutely.
That's a good list, man. That's a good list. I respect it because man, the Aviators, they're uniquely Vegas. They've been here for quite a long time, actually, in Las Vegas. It's something I know now.
I'm happy you said it. That's why 50 years, man.
Yeah,
No, did I say 50 years? 40
quite
years.
a bit. I want to say it goes back to the 70s though, 70s
Yeah,
or 80s,
40 years, yeah.
and yeah, it's like okay, wow, that's actually quite reputable. And hey man, let's get TAs here. I'll cop a hat.
I agree.
I'll cop a hat.
I
Like, what
agree.
can I
I mean,
say?
keep in mind, dog. Oh, you didn't even see me today. I wore an Angel jersey today. I grew up an Angel fan. I covered the Oakland Athletics minor league AAA team. Like life happens, man. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. My cousin is Tim Brown. I'm not a Raider fan. It just is what it is. Life happens.
One thing you are not a Raiders fan.
I'm not. I'm just not. I love black and silver. When the Raiders do good, I smile because
Just like yeah, as a
I
football
have
fan,
blood ties there, but I don't know. I grew up rooting for Brett Favre.
maybe they need to win. That's the missing ingredient. They need to win.
Maybe.
They need to win to win you over.
Maybe probably.
They low key might be playing for Caleb Williams next year.
I think they might be. Oh man.
That's it right there, man. Last shout out goes to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, because yeah, man, 1,000 days. These boys are putting on cinema Friday nights on SmackDown. I have yet to do the proper wrestling introductory course on this show because I don't want to do it by myself. You know what I mean? And it's got to be proper, and it just keeps building and building and building. But whenever we do, it's going to be beautiful. Me and my guy Quest, and yeah, man, shout out to the Chief, man. It's stupid for the if you've been a fan of wrestling and you already know, and you are one as well, T. Like, I will just say this as one who is as loyal as it gets as well. What's happening right now is getting ridiculous. It's a lot to enjoy right now in the wrestling world. If you've ever enjoyed it, if you had time, that's the main thing now. Is time is the number one thing you're competing with.
Absolutely.
And if you had time for it, there's a lot to enjoy in wrestling right now. A lot. But that's about it, man. Thanks for coming by, dog. Thanks for doing this. We will
thank you for having me.
we will do another one when the time is right, and it will be sooner rather than later.
Always, man. Thanks for having me. And I mean, we had these conversations without microphones in front of us, so this is nothing new.
You know what I mean. All right, y'all. We'll be out. Till next time.